Hello, I am the Liminal Witch, and I am here to talk with you on Tuesday, February 10th. Happy Tuesday, y'all. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and happy day to my boy Dama Boy, because apparently February 10th is a day to celebrate your Dama Boy, so all my fellow Slavs out there, be aware, because I just learned. So hey, I'm sharing the knowledge. Speaking of sharing the knowledge, today we're going to talk about that. So, fun fact that I always think about when Pompeii is brought up now that I've learned it, and that is, did you know that the bodies that we see as being what was recovered from Pompeii, that's not a body made of ash? Like, who else thought that that was just like ash? Like, I thought it was ash my entire childhood and adulthood until within the past 18 months, I read something talking about how the bodies at Pompeii were not ash, like, like Claudia and her false vampire mother in Interview with the Vampire after they, get exposed to the sunlight. It's not like these bodies of ash that when you touch them, they poof away like in a movie, which is absolutely what I thought. No, they're actually like these casings that formed around the remains and kept a basically imprint of that individual as their body decayed to time. And I had no idea. Like, imagine the misinformation and the misconceptions around that. Just that one little thing in Pompeii. And another misconception about that which can be found in Pompeii or known about Pompeii these days, the ancient remains from Mount Vesuvius erupting, okay? Like, that's the Pompeii we're referencing, okay? Or we, me, I, the Liminal Witch. There was like a bare fraction of the population. Most people escaped the volcano. I was under the impression that, like, they all died. That was a misconception I had based on lack of information. Had no idea. Thought everyone died in Pompeii. Not the case at all. Not the case at all. And surprising to me, and every time I relearn this little tidbit of information, or rather something about Pompeii is brought up and my brain reminds me, like, hey, remember you learned this also about Pompeii. It's crazy the amount of misinformation we have in life about things. We think we know, we think we're taught, we think we're informed, and then we find out that there's so much information and so much knowledge that we didn't know. And the same can be said in more aspects of life than just history. With magic, there are things that we miss or don't know, or like misconceptions we have, or conclusions we jump to with lack of information or misinformation. And then also there's the source of your information, because this thing about Pompeii that I'm not talking about is what made me think of Pompeii and the other information that I did share in the first place. And I can't find anything validating this. So, like, this isn't, oh, I'm surprised about this with Pompeii, because whereas it sounds plausible, it makes sense maybe, I can't find any corroborating information. All I can find actually is information to the contrary of, like, what it is what it is. But so I came across a video while I was doom scrolling for a moment, and it said that we don't actually even know the real name of the place of Pompeii, because the information that came at the time was only from like one person, and then after that Pompeii was discovered in like the 1500s by somebody, and that somebody found like a fresco on the wall, which apparently, like, the frescoes on the walls in Pompeii, it was like straight graffiti and messages, and like one article called it their version of memes, because a lot of times it was like, jokey or like political cartoons kind of stuff. Okay, so we're caught up on frescoes on the wall. One fresco had the word Pompeii on it, and that is where the name Pompeii came from. That's what the video said. I can't find anything that corroborates that. So whereas I absolutely believe that we could be calling this place by the wrong name for centuries, I can't find anything to corroborate that. So I don't want to spread misinformation. So I'm just not, including that in the, oh, wow, this is crazy information about Pompeii, right? Because there is misinformation everywhere, all the time. And we have to discern between sources and other information that were brought. We have to discern, like, where the truth lies with that. And so, fact, Pompeii, not ash, actually, like, hollow sculpture type of things that were created by the hot ash and lava coming in contact with the bodies, creating like a natural casing, but not ash. And also, again, not all of Pompeii. People weren't just sitting around having a day. Like, maybe they were, maybe the ones that are left were, but most people fled to the surrounding areas and lived to have their genes furthered for generations. So crazy misinformation about Pompeii, right? Because I grew up with both of those things not being what was taught, and that's okay. Like, once we learn something, we can carry that knowledge forward. Or sometimes we don't carry that knowledge forward and we're just regularly reminded about it, right? Like I said, I forget that I know these things about Pompeii, so Pompeii's brought up. And then at that time, once it's brought up, like, I get to do what I choose with that information. I can be like, oh, I had no idea. Or I can be like, oh, I did know that and I had forgotten. And I'm glad to be reminded of what the truth is. So that's what was in my mind today when I saw that Pompeii video. And I just thought, like, I'm going to share this information about Pompeii because also spread the truth, right? So, like, if there's misinformation out there like wildfire, truth helps stop that. It doesn't stop it entirely, as Cotton Mather could tell you, which, Scream came on earlier today, guys. I ended up watching Scream 2 and Scream 3 back to back this morning when I got up. It was quite a lovely way to start my day because, I gotta be honest, for anybody who's been like, why aren't these daily videos anymore? Or for those of you who have definitely seen the struggle, noticed the struggle, realized I'm struggling, and understood why there weren't daily videos anymore. I have been struggling very hard since November. I've been struggling very hard since November. And that is where the absence came from. So if you noticed, I am back. Thank you for possibly caring, and if you're or paying attention, seeing, because not everybody can see when someone else is struggling. So if you saw that, I appreciate you, and if you provided blessings during that time, thank you. My blessings were for you as well. And if you didn't notice the absence, then none of this is perhaps relevant, other than the fact that, sometimes we see what is in front of us and sometimes we do not. And that's just the fact of life. And that's okay. And if you're regular here, I don't always share this kind of stuff. So I'm just I waited till the end to give a little fill in. This video is not about like where I've been. I'm just, if you cared, there it is. And if not, that's okay. I'm just like an online person, right? So I should see you tomorrow. No pressure though, for me or for you. Bye.